Holy hoodwink, flight checkers! It's season 1.5, episode 5 of Flight Check. Curly and I decided to match shirts tonight. Knox, I think, missed the memo. That is truly unfortunate.
I don't own that one yet.
Yeah. Well,
How
somebody
do you not own this one yet?
somebody needs to gift this man a summer T-shirt. You know, I think that's the move. I am one of your hosts, Sandy Toes, and to my left and my extra left are my regular pals on the show, Knox War and Curly Double Q. Fellas, we were just having a riveting discussion about movies and Star Wars in particular. But other than that, how were your weeks? I mean, we had a full weekend of quarterfinal matchups. Did you guys manage to stay awake, or did you have some resident sleeper moments?
Considering I was asleep for a majority of them, I would definitely say resident sleeper. And even then, from what I heard about them, it was a crappy week in the games, honestly.
Not a great time for sure. A lot of 3-0s.
A lot of 3-0s.
A lot of 3-0s. Curly, how about you? Anything new in your world?
I mean, so definitely only got to catch like 1 or 2 games a day for like every series, aside from C9, where I got to watch the first and last games. And oh boy,
yeah.
But I think I really liked your tweet on Friday for T1 versus Hanwha Life. Like, oh boy, really excited to just got home from work, excited to watch this. What did I miss?
Well, I was. I think I stole that directly from Cadril. I think Cadril tweeted that the other day, and and I just stole it immediately because I thought it was hilarious. What was it? That was Friday. That was the
Friday T1 Hanwha Life.
Where was it?
It was just.
I'm looking for it. Where is it?
All right.
Maybe it wasn't him. Maybe it was someone else.
Hmm? I thought it was a banger. That's all that really.
Yeah.
matters.
Anyway, it was a good tweet. You know, it's like, hey guys, just got home from work. Hope the series is still going. Yeah. It was definitely a Cadril tweet, but I can't find it now.
Definitely. Are you sure it wasn't Vedius or Medic or any of the LEC casters?
No, I'm pretty sure. I'm gonna go through now and see if I can find.
He's going to stalk Cadril.
Everything. We're gonna look at this.
I already scrolled through everyone. Hang on, if I just search the actual words.
Watch it be Vedius. All right, this is important research, guys, happening right now. Got to make sure which LEC caster tweeted out the banger, only to find out it was probably Captain Flowers.
Oh wait, I tweeted on the Flight Check.
Yeah, you did.
Oh yeah, okay, hang on. All right, this is very important information, folks.
Crucial, some might say.
Who made this tweet? I can't find this.
Did it even exist?
Maybe
we made it up.
Maybe I made this up. Maybe this was a fake tweet.
Wait. What about Dash?
You lying to us, Sandy?
Maybe. I might be lying about it. Who actually knows?
Right,
I'm going through random Twitter accounts now. I can't.
Why can I not load James? Oh, Jesus.
Anyway.
How long are we gonna sit on this tweet?
Yes, somebody made up this tweet, and then I copied it for the Flight Check Twitter account, and it minorly banged. A whole 2 retweets, one of which was Curly. So, great tweet. Go, if you can go find it, go give it a like. Go give it a little, love on the Twitter
3 days
spheres. Anyway,
Absolutely.
Quarterfinals are over. NA and EU are on the airport going home. Cadril has had some really good memes. I think he did like the Lord of the Rings one where it's like, never thought I'd be on the airplane alongside, an NA team. And then it's like, how about on the airplane alongside with a friend? I could do that. Good. That one was pretty good.
I like that.
And then we also had a lot of LCK Worlds Any Percent. That was pretty good. I mean, sometimes you just have to meme through the pain, That's just how it is.
You know what we were lacking, though? A horse standing on a beach.
Yeah, there was no man.jpg tweet today. And
there wasn't.
I do take responsibility for that. I apologize for
that probably would have been our last one of the year, too.
I apologize for the failure. I don't know, actually, because if, the off-season goes a particular way, there would be plenty of time for us to tweet some man.jpg tweets. But Flyquest offseason is something we will be getting into at a later date. Let's just quickly run through these quarterfinals real fast, like super duper fast. I don't think we need to spend a lot of time on them.
Much like every LCK team.
Much like the quarterfinals, we can go through these turbo fast. Starting with T1 Hanwha Life, what a disgusting and horrific series. One of the worst quarterfinals I have ever watched at Worlds, and I know that this sentiment was echoed by a lot of people out there on Twitter and Reddit mainly. Just what a so boring. Hanwha Life looked
The run back was funny for like the first 2 minutes, and then it just got sad.
Yeah, Hanwha just looked so outclassed. They finally got exposed. And it was just sad. And T1, with the freest, pass to, semifinals of all time, maybe more so than Cloud9. I think Cloud9 might have put up more of a fight than Hanwha Life did, if I'm being honest.
Absolutely.
I will say, though, my one takeaway from this is this series did cement my opinion that Chovy is still the best mid laner in the world right now.
Yeah, I think that's still a very fair take to have, yeah.
All right.
Because, he was trying so damn hard to carry that just corpse of a team to, a single win. So he really cemented it in there. He is the best mid laner in the world right now.
Yeah,
he looked good still, even in that loss. I think he had one moment. It was what are you doing, Chovy? It was when he was off the sideline a little bit.
Yeah.
So basically, Chovy, if Showmaker shits the bed somehow before Worlds is over, you might have a spot on Damwon Kia. Who knows?
Oh, by the way, I was right. It was a Cadril tweet originally that I did copy. I just couldn't find it earlier. So justified. I feel better about it. We've gotten that out of the way. Okay, let's hit RNG versus EDG, because this was actually an interesting matchup. 5 games, back and forth the whole way through. What I will say is that whatever team lost, when they lost, they looked really bad when doing it. None of these games were super close, except maybe the one game where JJ gets 2 Baron steals back to back, and that was only because RNG was making a fight out of it. I think that might have been game 2 or 3. I can't remember exactly which one, but JJ gets the 2 Baron steals back to back, which was incredible, and basically stops RNG's comeback before it had really even begun. But there's a legit shot there that if RNG had gotten either of those Barons, that they could have made a comeback, and maybe this series ends up going a different way. But for me, and this is a bit not a rant, but a bit of a thought that I'm having, I am very sus on EDG right now. I don't think they...
Are you joining me on the opinion of this?
I picked RNG to win that quarterfinal, so I was wrong about EDG winning. All props to Curly for nailing that one, for hitting the head on the nail.
Head on the nail.
But in a strange way, maybe you guys will have a different take. We can get to the semis, eventually, but when we get there, I'm going to be talking about, a Gen G win, over EDG, because I think that's a real possibility here. So EDG, they win this series, but in my opinion, they look very sus doing it. How do you lose to an Annie?
Dude, that Annie was scary, though. You can't deny that Annie was terrible.
It was. The game 4 Annie was, but not the
game 4.
Not the game 2 Annie. The game 2 Annie was that was a
Annie at Worlds is just something I didn't expect.
That was a galaxy brain Annie right there. Sunday's matchup: Damwon versus Mad. This one was kind of sad for me because, I think Mad really had some shots at winning a couple games, but
that last game hurt
I think
so much.
I think game 2. Yeah, I think it was game 2, right? That they were pretty ahead, and then Damwon just has an incredible comeback. I mean, that's just a mental cracker right there. That's just like, that's mental boom. Instantly. I mean, you could see there's a video going around El Yoya just like kind of popping off in the break room after game 2, very visibly frustrated at losing a game that should have been winnable, much like C9 today, losing a game that should have been winnable. And so, so Dom1 just, in my opinion, continuing to cement themselves as the tournament favorite, being able to win from ahead and win from massively behind. I don't know if you guys have any further thoughts. Curly, you are the LEC expert on the show, so.
Man, I don't know. I'm super disappointed for Mad not being able to pull on through, especially because I feel like as a team, Mad, in my opinion, is strongest in a best of 5. And so this was their element, and they're really good at upsetting. I mean, that's how they kind of ascended to LEC domination, where I want to say a good amount of people probably thought Rogue was going to win, but this back in spring, but the second Mad pulled off the reverse sweep, it was just like Mad all the way. And I thought they would continue that, but Damwon is just such a powerful team, and I think I need to give them respect than I have for the rest of the tournament. That's for sure. And I will say this: I was struggling to wake up yesterday before my, and then I woke up just for the last half of the last match, and I was like, "Wow."
Yeah.
And then I had to go stream, so I was like, "All right, we're just gonna pretend this morning didn't happen."
Can't wait to watch the game later today, guys. Right?
Yeah. Right, guys. It's gonna be a great series, right? Who I feel bad for in all of this is Captain Flowers, because he has to experience the pain, after all of us do, but he can't in the moment share in the pain. Because he's doing his rebroadcasts a whole 24 hours later. So the poor man is still out there somewhere in California right now, 4:45 p.m. out there, hoping, still having that NA hopium that Cloud9 could maybe make something out of this quarterfinals appearance. Knox, I don't know if you had anything to say about this Mad series, or we can move on to the C9 one real fast.
I don't have anything. Clearly, I think it sucks, really, just the group draw. I think against pretty much most of the other first seeds, I think this is a far closer game for Mad Lions, right? But you happen to literally just draw the worst first seed you could get. So,
yeah.
I really do think Mad could have shown a lot more. I think they did show a fair amount, considering it was Damwon. But yeah, outside there's nothing much more to say. Just a really unfortunate draw, and hopefully this team sticks together, because they're a good European team. I want to see them continue to stick with it going into next year, because I think they can make a deep run next year. But
yeah,
because literally, I think the only last 2 best of 5s this Mad Lions team has lost has been to Damwon Gaming. It's not even been anyone in their region. It's been Damwon.
Right.
No one else.
Yeah.
So I'd love to see this team play another best of 5 against literally any other team.
I feel like they got kind of shafted on the quarterfinal draw. I feel like, if they had played RNG, or if they had played Genji, or if they had played
they couldn't play Genji.
They could not play Genji. If they had played RNG, or if they had played T1. Yeah, I feel like they might have been able to make something more out of those series, but
definitely RNG.
Definitely RNG
would have been theirs. No problem.
I think RNG could have been a win for Mad Lions for sure. All right. Well, it's time to memorialize Cloud9 and North America at Worlds, LCS's last hope, on the plane home from Iceland. Kind of rough, kind of sad. Truly a difficult time for all of us. There were some similarities I saw to the Mad Lions series, where, it's not like they were playing badly. They managed to get ahead in a couple games. It's all about maintaining that lead and being able to close out the game. When you have that early lead, translating it into a mid-game lead and doing something proactively with it. And it just was not there. So I don't know how much of this series you guys got to watch today, but
I got to see the whole thing, and
yeah.
it was not fun.
Yeah,
I saw the first and last games in excruciating detail.
Right up close in HD.
Honestly, you probably missed the worst one, Curly.
Cool,
You did.
good. Yeah,
you
I
did.
was walking
Game
to
2
school
was the
during
worst
that.
one. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. It didn't happen. It was just like they flipped a coin. Oh man, it went Gen G side. Cool.
Yeah.
Next.
What sucks though is that Game 2 draft. I thought we like Giga Brain drafted him. I was like, oh, it's going 1-1, easy. Then no.
Yeah, I thought that draft was pretty good.
Just int.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Knox, I really want to hear your thoughts, on the series. I mean, this was a series that a lot of people were looking at and saying, "Wow, Cloud9 could really do it." I remember saying, and I tweeted this earlier today, that I wouldn't be shocked to see Cloud9 go through, and I wouldn't be shocked to see them get 3-0'd. And lo and behold, they got 3-0'd. But this was a series that a lot of people felt like anything could happen.
Yeah, for sure. And you can see it in game 1 too, right? Like first game was super close, very back and forth. Yeah. I think what it kind of came down to was Gen G just comes down to that classic Korean macro, right? They're better at us in terms of macro, and you could tell because Cloud9 had a little bit of a lead in the mid game. They got in that Baron, they were trying to climbing their way up. They were taking turrets, they were pushing their way in, and then Baron ended, and then Vision started getting taken back by Gen G. Gen G started kind of making moves in the river, and they started claiming stuff, and it kept slipping away from Cloud9. They couldn't cement the win. And eventually, Gen G, very sloppily, because, let's be honest, that Kennen was not pretty, right? But eventually, Gen G managed to close it out, and they choked him out, and it was like, all right, there's game 1. And then you go into game 2, and I'm watching this draft, right? You got 380 on the side of Gen G, and then bam, the Malphite comes in. You're like, oh.
Fudge Malphite, baby.
Fudge Malphite. Into 380 on Gen G's side. Oh.
Yeah, it looks good. Yeah.
We're looking good. We're looking good. And the other thing is they got the Lee Sin, right? And it's like, you know what? Just for good measure. Boom. Poppy. Which I'm sure Curly you loved. Well, you didn't get to see.
I did. I saw that locked in draft, and then I left for school. I was like, it's gonna be a great day. Poppy's on the rift, maybe.
Narrator, it was not, in fact, a great day.
No. And so, you see the Poppy, because the other thing is, not only is it 3 AD for the Malphite, that's a great counter. You have the Poppy going into a Graves, which has a dash, Lee Sin, which is super dashy, and then a Rakan, which is also extremely dashy. Poppy shuts down all of this, right?
Yeah,
it's like, oh my god. We have 3 counters on one champion via Malphite, and then we have another 3 counters via Poppy for Blabber. And it's like, we're good. We're just good. I'm not worried about this. We just outdrafted him so hard, and then we get into game, and it's just Perks is getting picked nonstop, and just Fudge is getting dived top lane early game, so that way he's not scaled yet. Which it's smart on Gen G's part, but it's the level of play was just their brains turned off. I don't know what the hell happened, and so at that point it's yeah, you outdrafted him massively, and if you restart this game, I guarantee you 7 to 8 times out of 10, you probably win them just off of draft alone. But we hit the 1 out of 10 where it's no, you just giga-lose this because you're playing absolute buffoons.
Yep.
So, I don't know. That was game 2. There's nothing, I don't have anything else outside of the fact that we just outdrafted them and then proceeded to just throw it away off a terrible play. And then game 3 comes in, and we were in it for a little while, and it goes back to BDD being an absolute boss on Zoe.
Game 3 for me. Okay, so I was being an excellent student and being so perfect at multitasking that during my anatomy lecture, I was learning about cells and watching the brain cells misfire in Cloud9 at crucial moments. But actually, no, that game 3 for me was intense because for the first 15 minutes, I was like, holy shit, C9, you turned on. You're controlling this. You're doing great. Even when you lose a fight, you figure out how to make it good. You were they were doing great. And for me, Game 3 was decided by one single bubble. A very specific bubble before the Ocean Soul fight that got Sven trapped in the pit. If that bubble didn't hit Sven, I feel like that fight would have went so different. But by Sven on the MF being absolutely deleted before anything could happen, that number one tore C9 apart. But they were still able to recover it. I mean, Blabber was doing an awesome job 1v3. And unfortunately, it just took Perks too long to turn around and start helping him. Because I think everyone was thinking, all right, we'll just leave. And if they had turned around a little quicker or just left, it would have turned out better for everyone. But that one fight, I want to say, is like the final nail in the coffin. And then it was just from there, and it threw away every single bit of progress that they had made before. And it made me so sad to watch happen.
Yeah, I want to say that the fact that C9 got to quarters at all,
super happy.
big success for North America.
Overperforming for my expectations.
Overperforming. And I think
in that group.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of interesting discussions to be had around North America's performance at Worlds this year, because you have some people I've seen arguing that Team Liquid was still the best performing North American team, going 3-3 in their very competitive group. Cloud9 kind of doing the whole, barely squeaking out and then promptly getting blasted in quarterfinals. So I think there's, some arguments to be made over which team was the better performing one. I think I would decisively say 100 Thieves comes in at number 3 for NA performance, and then you can make arguments either way for Cloud9 or Team Liquid. But I think looking ahead towards this offseason, and this is a sentiment I've seen echoed by a lot of people, folks like Travis Gafford, Kelsey Moser, a bunch of other folks around the scene in North America, I really hope that what owners do not do this offseason is think that the problem can be solved by throwing millions of dollars at, EU players or other players, around the world, and making big name imports, but we've started establishing a foundation in amateur and academy, and we're starting to bring players up. Let's let that system work. You've got players already coming in like Danny. You've got Jojo Pune in hopefully a year or two. There's a lot of talents out there that have the mechanical skill required, but we just need to get them up to the macro level. Knox, you definitely want to say something here, I'm sure.
Well, so just speaking of off season, right? I posed this question earlier in the Discord, and I also posed it earlier in the Oracle's Elixir. And I wanted to hear what you guys think. So, 1 year ago, a genie comes to you, and he says, if you pay $11 million to acquire perks for your team, here's what you will get. You will have a spring championship win. You will have a 5th and 6th place finish at MSI. You will have a 3rd place finish at Summer LCS. And then you will go a perfect 50-50 overall throughout the entirety of Worlds, squeaking into quarterfinals and finishing 0-3. That's what you get with $11 million to buy perks. You know this back in November of 2020. Do you take that deal or not?
I mean, I don't take a deal for $11 million. Period. Like, I don't know. Even if if C9 somehow had won Worlds, I still could never in my life justify paying $11 million for a single player. It could be Faker. It could be Chovy. It could be Showmaker. Wouldn't do it.
Okay. What do you think, Sandy? I see your quizzical look on your face.
Yeah. I don't know how much of a direct comparison you can make, but the last time Cloud9 made quarterfinals, they won that series. And it was without perks. It was with a mid laner that most people would say is of a decidedly lower quality. Still very good, Jensen, very good mid laner, but not Perks level, right? And yeah, I mean, that was a very different team. That was Sneaky and Zazel, Licorice, and I believe Svenskeren was the jungler that year as well. So, you know, a completely different roster, right? But a completely different roster, but they made it further than any North American team had made it before and has since then, right? And I don't know if you can really call this year for Cloud9 a success based on that acquisition of Perks and the other pieces you surrounded him with in, like, Vulcan, you know, a multiple-time MVP in Blabber, you know, your big academy promotion in Fudge, one of the, you know, OG, you know, bot lane players in Sven. You know, you look at those pieces, and that's a team that you expect to do very, very well, very well. And, like, I did see some other stuff today about, like, oh, you know, they won Spring Split, they got top 6 at MSI, and they got top 8 at Worlds, and 3rd in Summer. I don't know, with that roster, that sounds like a roster to me that should be dominating Spring, top 4 at MSI, dominating Summer, you know, top 4 at Worlds. Like, that's what I would expect from that roster. And I would say it's, like, still, like, okay, it's a success to get out of groups. That's tough for North America, especially in a group like they had. But I just don't think that this was enough out of that acquisition. I don't think Jack got what he paid for. I think if you're paying for someone like Perks and you're going to put the pieces around him like Jack did, you should be saying, yes, semifinals or bust. So, yeah, that's my outlook on it.
Your criteria then is if they had made semis, it would have been worth the 11 mil?
I guess maybe I was answering the question of, like, was it a successful season?
I'm just kind of delving deeper into what you said.
Was it worth 11 million? I don't think it was worth 11 million. I don't think any player... I first of all, I think, like, the Sword Art acquisition and I think the Perks acquisitions were both massively overvalued.
Oh, yeah.
I think they were massive overvalues, I think, and it's unfortunately going to set a trend of owners massively overpaying for players that don't deserve that kind of valuation. But, so yeah, so I don't think it was, I don't think top 8 at Worlds is worth an $11 million purchase.
If you want me to be honest, if you're paying $11 million, like, the only potential thing I could think of that might justify it, and that's might, is if you somehow start performing like Damwon has these last 2 years, where you set up potential back-to-back Worlds titles. That is the only payoff.
Yeah, I mean, I think
this is money well invested.
Yeah, like, this is not a scene. This is not a like the NBA or the NFL where you're paying players. This is not like a what was there's a player in the MLB, Fernando Tatis Jr., super young guy. He's literally 22 years old, and he just signed an extension with his team, the Padres. And I want to see if I can find this contract. Tatis Jr. contract. Yeah, 14-year contract for $330 million. You know, that's
Jesus.
Yeah, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 divided by 14. That is like $23.5 million a year, right? And that's not including any, like, bonuses or, like, you know, stuff like that. So we're nowhere near that, right? We're nowhere near that level of monetary exchange for players in this burgeoning scene. However, I don't want to see us getting to that point where all of a sudden we're paying $20 million for, Ruler to come over, or we're paying, $15 million. And I'm just worried that, after that, owners are just going to look at it and be like, dang, well, $11 million for perks didn't work, so, $40 million
guy, right?
$40 million to sign Knight. It's like, where is it going to end? Like, we don't have that kind of money. Let's start being profitable first, and then maybe we can get to, ridiculous contracts.
That's actually a big thing I don't get. How do you afford that? Because I look at the prize pools,
venture capitalism.
Anytime I'm looking at the tournaments, I'm looking at the prize pools, and I think anytime I look at C9 in the back of my head, I'm like, how did they afford perks?
Yeah.
If you win everything, you don't get perks.
It's all venture capitalism.
Yeah, the thing is, in the LCS, I believe there are only 2 current LCS teams that are actually profitable, and that is TSM and 100 Thieves. So, that had to have been a huge hit for Cloud9 to drop 11 mil on perks.
Yeah. So. Well, there you go.
Alrighty then.
Okay, let's hit the next thoughts. I kind of gave my how sus is EDG talk already. I think they're very sus.
Welcome to the dark side.
Yeah, welcome to the dark side. I need the leaderboard. Or is the leaderboard down actually right now?
Leaderboard of what?
Yep.
Oh, because I just wanted to check who did the best in who is the Flight Check Pick'em King. So
well,
Nox War
probably
with this is getting spicy. Oh boy.
Pretty close, I think.
So both of you correctly predicted the winner of 3 out of 4 of the matches. However, correct. Neither of you predicted the correct score lines
for any of them.
Now, your boy, Sandy Toes, only predicted 2 correct winners. However, I nailed the score lines in both of those.
So we're all equal.
No. I have 4, and you both have 3.
We have 3s, Charlie.
Oh, no!
So I am the knockout Pick'em King so far. We still have semifinals and finals to go. But yes, very, very interesting. Quarterfinals day 1. That was T1 Hanwha Life, correct? And then I got so I called them for a 3-0, and then I called Damwon 3-0 over Mad, which was. And then I think the other ones I had were I think I had said C9 in a 3-2, and that was obviously very wrong. And then I had RNG maybe in a 3-2 as well.
You had RNG 3-2.
Yeah, so I got that scoreline correct, which I feel like I should get a half a point for that,
You know what? I'm the commissioner. I'll allow it. I get a half point too.
Well, there you go. So that's where things stand. I think I am still very far behind you guys on the overall scoreboard, only because I missed a lot of my
out or no?
I missed a lot of my play-ins.
Yeah.
My plans ones. I can check the totals for us real fast.
I know that I'm sitting pretty in 85th place.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You're actually overall you're sitting in 94th place, my friend. So
no. I checked it today. I should be in 85th.
Well, I clicked on totals and you read 94.
Hold up. Did it update again?
I'm in a cool 127th overall.
Bro, what do I have to? Oh my god.
Nox is 41st, so he's not out of it. He just needs a little help. It's a spicy top 10 right now, I will say. It's fairly close. Our friend of the show, Ricebox, actually doing very well for themselves,
as he does,
as he does in many pick'ems. All right. That's where we stand on pick'ems. Nox, is it? Do we want to do your Worlds format first, or do we want to hit the little Flyquest news that popped out today?
Well, wait. What about we never
Oh, do we want
actually
to talk?
discuss EDG sus.
Yeah, I was gonna say predictions.
Oh yeah, okay. Let's talk semis. Yeah, of course. I was moving too quickly.
Or are we putting that at the end? Because you didn't.
No. Let's do it now. Let's do it now.
Let's do it now. Okay. Okay.
So T1 versus Dom1. I have Dom1 here. I think T1 looked really good, and it's a shame that they couldn't. That they're on this side of the bracket, because I wish this was actually our finals matchup.
This should have been the finals bracket.
Yeah, I wish this was the finals matchup, and this is Riot. This is why we need double elimination. This should have been the finals matchup. And then I don't have a pick yet for Gen G versus EDG because I'm still debating it. But I'm curious to know both of y'all's thoughts on these two matchups that we have. Curly, Curly, let's hit it with you.
I'm kind of in the opposite boat of you, where I have my decisive pick for Gen G versus EDG, and it is Gen G. I don't think EDG really stands much of a chance. Part of my basis on it is literally every LCK team that won went 3-0, and EDG was the only one that had to go all the way to game 5. So, like, if you're looking at the math there, that's just like, wow, they struggled harder. But then on top of that, of all teams, they struggled against RNG, which to me, you shouldn't be losing like more than one game to RNG, especially if they're the only team that lost to Fnatic in group stages.
Respectfully disagree, but continue.
Oh man. And it's funny because back in OSI I was like, don't underestimate RNG, but that summer like, underestimate RNG. But yeah, no, EDG, I don't know, just not doing it for me, especially because it's now League of Mid Laners, and holy fuck, BDD. Holy fuck.
Yeah, BDD is just something else.
Kind of cracked. So
ban Zoe, you know?
Yeah.
B_N Z_E.
Ban Zoe. So that's my prediction for Gen G versus EDG. But as of this moment, I really don't know for Damwon versus T1. Because you look at Damwon, and Damwon, yes, they are undefeated. They look really good. They have consistently looked good all season. But T1, like, they look like they woke up. And they are here, and they are ready. And so, like, I see them so equally right now. And I know T1, like, struggled against Damwon during the whole season. But I at this moment, I cannot tell you which team I am more confident in. I will say this, whoever does win is winning Worlds, because Gen G will stomp EDG, but then they're going to get stomped right back when it comes to finals. But I don't know which one it is, man. So I'm going to have to take a good old ask again later.
Try again later with the
I'll see your picks later this week, so
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. At least for the T1 Damwon, T1's looking like they're on the up and up a little bit, but like it's also Damwon. They haven't looked outside of like that game 2 against Mad, which is like I think the first time they've really been pushed this whole tournament long. Like they have not looked vulnerable whatsoever. Whereas T1's shown a different couple times. Like you can hit them. So at the end of the day, I think I'm gonna go with Damwon winning. I'm not sure on the scoreline yet. I still got to think on that one a little bit. And then on the opposite side of the bracket, I mean, y'all know me. I've been saying it all tournament long. I don't believe EDG should have ever gotten this far. I don't trust them. I still don't trust them. Gen G should take this. I'm actually going to predict a hard 3-0 for Gen G on this one.
Ooh, a boring semifinal, says Nox.
Yes. That semifinal, yes. I think the T1 Damwon one will be a very, very fun one. And it should have honestly been the final.
It should have been. I think, I think the T1 Dom1 will be, it'll be either 3-1 or 3-2, I think, for Dom1. I think T1 will actually challenge them, but EDG, even in their wins, did not look good versus RNG. And, of course, I say that, and now this is the week that they're going to turn everything around and figure everything out and just stomp
No, it's not.
but
It's not. I'm sorry.
But I think I am gonna go with Gen G here. I just for some reason I feel like I've got more faith as long as they do not put in Burdall, and keep Rascal up there in the top lane. I think Gen G should take this one. I don't think it's going to be the clean 3-0. I could see this being a 3-1 or 3-2 as well. So either series I think will be 3-1 or 3-2. I just have to decide exactly which one. Actually, you know what? I'm going to lock it in right now. Damwon 3-1 and Gen G 3-2. I think we're going to have some exciting semifinals on our hands. That's what I am. That is how I am rolling.
I personally disagree with you on like the exciting semifinal part. Quality of gameplay away. The fact that it's 3 LCK teams makes me so unenthused. Because it's like, all right.
I don't know. I'm kind of here for the resurgence of LCK this year. I like the narrative about it, where they've been kind of knocked down for a few years by both EU and LPL, and now here they are to kind of reclaim. I mean, I know Damwon, they won it last year, but Damwon was literally the only good LCK team at the tournament, and LPL was still very, very good. Yeah, LPL was still very, very good. And now this year, LCK has kind of hit back with a vengeance.
That's true.
And they are the ones who have looked really, really good. So that's kind of where... That's part of the narrative that I'm liking. Okay, that's semifinals. Okay, now the question. Nox, the Worlds format first, or do we want to hit the Flyquest news? I mean, we were just discussing how we want double elim in Worlds, so maybe your format.
Yeah, I was like, let's do the format. And then,
yeah, cool.
We can wrap it up with the Flyquest news.
Cool. All right, so let me do the transition. Curly and I will take a back seat. This is a little thing that Nox has been working on, so I'm going to transition the show over to him. There he is. There's his beautiful face, and then he's going to kind of give me the nudge when it's time to change slides. So, Noxwar, please take it away.
So, I'm just going to apologize in advance if this is a little more dry than the other presentation. There's less pictures. It's more kind of like bullet points.
Yes.
To give context to this, I was talking with J366, I think is the number, whatever. Basically a guy in the Vietnamese, the VCS Discord, as well as the Oracle's Elixir Discord, who's also kind of runs his own pick'ems in there. And we got talking one day. It was like, well, obviously most people want like a format change in what Worlds should look like, right? And so we kind of went back and forth, and he kind of gave his ideas on it, and I was like, well, now you've got me scratching this itch, and so here I am making a PowerPoint presentation over what I think the ideal presentation should be. So if you want to go on to the first slide. All right, so the big thing I want to emphasize, and y'all are going to very quickly learn that I am a huge proponent in giving more screen time to emerging regions. So with this format that I'm proposing, a lot of emerging regions don't get a lot of screen time or get the chance to prove themselves. Sometimes you get teams like Infinity Esports, who this year came all the way to Iceland from Latin America, played 4 games on stage where they lost all 4 of them and then just went home. It's kind of depressing, right? You spend a lot of money to go do all that just to show up 4 times and then, all right, go home. And that's it. Your season's done. I'd like to give the regions more time and more screen time, so that way other major regions can look toward those regions, see like actual gameplay happening on stage, and go, oh, hey, this player's from a minor region, right? But they look pretty good. Maybe it's someone I can get in contact with. Maybe it's someone I can get on an academy roster. Maybe over time develop. You never know. It could be the next FBI. A lot of people earlier this year were saying Violet on the Peace team this year looked really, really good. And there's been a lot of discussions on Twitter saying, hey, maybe we should bring him over to North America. Stuff like that. So that's kind of the main reason I want to do this particular format. So with that said, the suggested format is an additional qualifier tournament before World/play-ins. Oh, wait.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Basically, the regions that would fall under this would be like, it's kind of like there's a play-ins for the actual tournament, and then there's like the actual tournament, right? And then that tournament qualifiers go on the play-ins/actual worlds. And so the regions that would fall under this particular Tier 4 tournament based off of 2021 standings would be the LCL or the CIS, TCL, Turkey, CB LOL, Brazil, and LLA, Latin America. This would be an 18 tournament consisting of the top 2 teams from each region split into 2 groups of 4 and seeded based off the first and second place from the regional finals, all done via group draw. So like the normal little ball thing in the hand, yada yada, pull it out. And that's how they separate the groups. And obviously the normal rules apply if you don't allow the same region to be in the same group. The start date for this would be August 28th, 2023. And so if you guys ever want to look at like a calendar, literally like I had this all mapped out on a calendar, and you can see it fits perfectly in line with Riot scheduling. An example of what this would look like based off of 2019 results, because that was kind of like the last time that you saw every single region participating, because unfortunately Vietnam hasn't been able to participate due to COVID-19. So if you look at the groups below, you have like Group A, Unicorns of Love, which was a seed 1 from the LCL, Isurus Gaming, who's seed 1 from Latin America, INTZ, seed 2 from Brazil, Supermassive Esports, seed 2 from Turkey, Group B's Vegas Squadron, seed 2 from Russia, All Knights, seed 2 Latin America, Flamingo Esports, seed 1 Brazil, and seed 1 from Turkey, Royal Youth. That's kind of what those groups would look like, right? So if you want to go on the next slide. So basically, the way the format would work is would be a single round robin of best of ones taking place on the 28th, 29th, and 30th of August until one round robin is completed. So basically 4 games a day. Pretty easy on the production side, very easy to manage. After that, obviously, you have everything seeded. And the best of 3s would take place on the 31st of August and the 1st and 2nd of September, with 2 best of 3s happening each day. So in total, 6 best of 3s. And basically, it's obviously the normal seeding patterns of like first plays 4th from the other group, second plays 3rd from the other group, so on and so forth. So yeah, so just like I said, top 2. Basically, the top 2 they won't play each other at all. They'll just move on to the next Tier 3 tournament. And this kind of bracket is kind of what it would look like. So just for theoreticals, right? The Tier 3 tournament would be the same format as the Tier 4 tournament, but with higher seeded regions. So you'd have the second seed coming in from the PCS. You would have the second seed coming in from the VCS. And then currently, based off of like today's standards, the LJL and the LCO have been the highest performing emerging regions in the past 2 years, which is absolutely crazy to think about considering how bad these regions have been in years past. But the past 2 years, they've been on the up and up. So if you think about it, they're actually the most deserving. After that, you would also, so you'd have the first and second seeds from both of those regions, and then you'd have the 2 winners from the Tier 4 tournament. In which case, scheduling for this would take place on, these would once again be best of ones, and it'd take place on September 4th, 5th, and 6th. Once again, total of 4 games played a day. Best of 3s would be played 7th, 8th, and 9th, with 2 best of 3s being played a day. And once again, the top 2 would qualify for the actual play-in stage. And this is where I want to emphasize that there's like a week and a half or so in between these tournaments, so that way teams can travel to the actual Worlds location, as well as get settled and time zone differences and so on and so forth. Because ideally, what I would like to have happen would be the Worlds play-in starting on 9/21/23. Worlds play-in stage. Intended for teams from major regions that placed close to being at the top, but didn't really make it. Think of it like Valorant's last chance qualifier for people who were kind of keeping track of the Valorant scene. But this is kind of like almost international. And so, and I'm sure a lot of people are kind of going at this, looking at this, going, what do you mean 5th seed LPL and 5th seed LCK? And the reason I put those in is because I think the amount of dominance that those 2 regions have shown over the year, that they've earned having 4 seeds automatically put into the stage, right? Like you look at LNG this year, they put up a decent fight. They didn't make it through, but they looked okay, right? Then you have Hanwha Life, who made it all the way to quarterfinals. These regions have enough teams that are strong enough and deep enough that they deserve having 5th seeds placed in play-ins, in my opinion. And I'll show on the next slide here in a second, but don't go yet. Just like if you think about it, those teams were absolutely able to show up, I think. So along with the 5th seed LCK and LPL, you'd have the 3rd seed LEC from Europe, the 3rd seed LCS from North America. You'd have the 1st seed from PCS and the 1st seed from VCS, as well as the top 2 winners from the Tier 3 tournament. Like, if you think about that lineup, would that not be a hype tournament to watch? Don't you think that'd be very close in standings? So with that said, it's a total of 8 teams. We'll split into two groups of 4, ensuring the tier 3 teams are separated. Uh, First seed group A plays 4th seed group B in a best of 5. So this kind of brings in the best of 5 format that Play-ins has currently right now, because I think that's a great standard to have to reach the actual group stage. All right, now I'm good for the next slide. So this is kind of what it would look like. So if you guys remember from 2019 Sandbox Gaming as well as JD Gaming, both were very solid teams. Obviously, nowhere near good enough to make Worlds at the time, and probably obviously not favorites whatsoever. But if you compare them to other teams that would be in this group, like Clutch, Splice, Gigabyte Marines, AHQ, Lowkey, this is an insane tournament to watch. Like the round robin stage would be awesome. Like I don't know who would be taking what slot, right? And then the best of 5s themselves would be also very, very hard to tell. So I think just for viewership alone, having this as be the new playing stage would be awesome and would bring in a lot of viewers, right? So there's that. If you want to go next slide. So Worlds contenders, I kind of had 2 different options on how this wanted to play. Like you could squeeze group stage into 5 days in a row with 3 series a day, and on day 5 only having 2 series played, kind of similar to what Valorant Masters Berlin did. Or you could split into 6 days over the course of 2 weekends, so that way it's kind of like more relaxed a little bit, kind of like how it has been in years past. Like just the fact that like I'm trying to give options here, right? So that way whatever like is better for Riot you can do. So if you need to split it up a little bit, or teams are like, hey, we need to take a little break so that way we're not just going 5 days in a row. Like it's whatever's best, right? So if you want to go 5 days in a row, you want to start the tournament on October 5th, 2023, and that way the tournament ends on October 28th. Or you can start the tournament on October 6th and have it be split over the course of 2 weekends, and the ending tournament will be finishing on November the 4th. Whatever's best, I'm not sure. It's kind of up in the air. I don't really know what would be best in that particular situation. But I think honestly, both of those paths could work, right? To make sure all regional leagues are able to be there and compete, all regional leagues need to be completed by September 3rd, 2023, ensuring enough time for boot camp as well as travel. Teams that are automatically in groups, like I said, are 4 LCK teams, 4 LPL teams, 2 LEC teams, and 2 LCS teams, and then the 4 teams that are coming from play-ins. And something that I'll get into more here in a second is I would like to see the group stage turned into a Swiss-style groups with best of 3 double elimination. Because currently, a lot of the times what happens is you have like teams that just like play twice and then it's done, or like a total of 6 games and then it's done, right? And I don't think you get enough. Like the series doesn't show like adaptability or anything, because you can play like a team like 4 days later or whatever. And I think Swiss style is just a lot better. And then this is probably where a lot of people may disagree with me still, and some people actually like it, is like I want to keep the knockouts the same as the current single best of 5 single elimination. And if you want to go to the next stage, I kind of describe why. Oh, I guess on the next slide, but basically, so assuming regional leagues stay the same, this is kind of like this little slide, and I'll link this slide in the Discord in case anyone wants to like look at this. But basically, these are all the dates of when each major region should start and when it should end. Emerging region schedules, just basically, I'm not sure what would be best for emerging regions, because each emerging region has like different formats for their leagues, right? Basically, the only requirement I'm going to say is either you can shorten your league down so that way you can get done by August 13th, because that's basically when all those leagues have to be done by, so that way they can send their respective teams to that tier 4 tournament. And then, or you can push your whole season forward a little bit. However you want to do it. Admittedly, I think probably just shortening your season would probably be the best, specifically in summer, because you're still doing MSI and everything. So at least probably just shortening your summer season somehow, so that way everything's done by August 13th, and then you move on. Admittedly, this would make their offseason very weird and short, and since free agency wouldn't be able to be opened up until after all the leagues are completed, because technically it's a global system, right? Like all leagues should be able to look at it. So it's kind of a little awkward. Basically, teams are having to sit around and wait until Worlds is done, and that's like 3 months later. So that's kind of one of the downsides that I wanted to point out of this particular format. These changes, like just kind of reiterating, these changes are for the sake of closer cut competition, better viewability, not necessarily what will bring the most views. It will suck for some emerging regions to never see their teams play against higher ranking teams, which I know a lot of people love seeing, like the LGL play against like EDG or whatever it may be. But historically, we've never seen these teams actually put up a competition. Like it happens, but it's like once in a blue moon. It's like rare occasions or upsets, which is typically what brings in the views, right? Like, oh, what if it happens? But like, if you want like high competitive games, majority of the time, this particular format is what's going to bring that, right? So that's kind of why I wanted to expand the tournaments or another tournament below, so that way you have more teams from the emerging regions being able to compete. There's more viewability that way. You have more teams. You have more teams to cheer for, which means you have more opportunities to continue to move on. But at the same time, you're set back a little bit because your region has typically not shown the ability to perform that well, right? So I think it's a decent kind of set off, or like a trade off rather. So you start lower, but you get more teams to play and more teams to watch, which is honestly, I think, better for the region overall. These changes also give us a better middle of the pack competition in the form of like play-ins, more highly contested play-ins involving lower seeds from major regions. Overall, this format should provide more competitive games than the current one, in my opinion. And then continuing on, bring the Swiss system in, because I think it's just more beneficial overall than the current one that Riot has, where it's best of ones. Doesn't really give a good story, doesn't really give a good idea of adaptability of the team, so on and so forth. Riot's already shown that they know how to do the Swiss system, as shown via the Valorant Masters Berlin. Took them 7 days to do groups when Riot used to do groups for Worlds in 8 days, so it's more than possible, right? Only downside of this format is you may possibly have longer days if all 3 series go 3 games, which could be 9 games in 1 day. But we've already shown also in play-ins that we had a 10-game day. It happens. It's a long day. It sucks, but it is what it is. That's why you have tons and tons of talent coming in, taking turns. And like I said, I would personally suggest keeping in the single elimination for best of fives due to a respectable portion of the community liking the finality of a single elimination at the high-end level. I get that. And also for the sake of trying to make sure everything ends at a proper time frame, because you start putting in having a best of 3 double elimination, which is the only way you're ever going to do double elimination for knockouts. Like, you're going to expand the tournament. Like, you have to go even further down the line. And I think like this tournament's already long enough as it is, because you're already adding an additional tournament. So for this sake, I would say keep the single elimination best of fives. You already have best of threes in groups that are double elimination. This should have the finality of it and gives it like a nice solid ending to it. I'm trying to think if there was anything else. Is this last slide? Yep, that's pretty much it. So that's my little tangent. That's my little rant. That's my little presentation over what I think the Worlds format should look like heading into 2023, because obviously 2022 is too soon to go do that. And obviously, yeah, that is my opinion. So by all means, if you guys have disagreements on it,
no, that
I saw TMB write something in the chat that I haven't read yet. I'll read
that was great, because I was laughing because I switched back to the 3-man shot, right? And then all of a sudden I see Curly just kind of like bolt upright and be like, yes, I've been listening very professionally this entire time.
No, I have. I have.
No, I saw you on camera. Yeah, I knew you were.
I was.
No, I know. I'm just making fun of you.
No, but yeah, it was wow.
No, that was great. I think the big takeaway for me is that there's a lot of possibility. I think there's a lot of space in the global calendar for Riot to involve the smaller regions more, involve more teams overall in the qualification process. I liked what you said about, how VCT Champions has been doing their, qualification and also their just tournament process in general. Obviously, VCT is, a global circuit with big tournaments and things like that, and multiple international tournaments a year. But look, they're doing multiple international tournaments a year. Like, it's not a unrealistic thing. They were supposed to have 3 different Masters tournaments this year. I think the first one was relegated just to being local regional Masters, but then they were able to have Masters Reykjavik and Masters Berlin. And now they're going to have VCT Champions, I believe, next month. So it's not like Riot can't put on international tournaments. I think there's a lot of space for them to enable more international opportunities for teams, help us see more international play, and help teams level up more. Curly, any thoughts on these format ideas?
Well, I do like the I like a lot of what you presented. I like the idea of like an earlier play-ins that includes like involves some minor regions more and all that stuff, like the tier 4, the tier 3. My fundamental issue is that you are giving too many teams to the LPL and LCK.
Yep, and I knew that's going to probably be one of the biggest.
4 teams is too much already, and the fact that you took away the guaranteed seed from PCS and VCS actually destroys my soul. Like, I when you got to that slide, I sat back for a second and I'm like, you need to respectfully, like, I like in my brain I had interjected in my brain. I was like, whoa, but it's like, no, I sat back and let you see it through. But yeah, no, that is like a huge flaw I see with your format. Everything else is really good. I do think it would be very demanding production wise, but as you said, Riot has shown they can do multiple international tournaments. I think your overall concepts are real good. But another thing I'm not positive about is the Swiss style best of 3 because I see how the quality is better. But part of me really called me old fashioned. I like seeing how shit hits the fan in week 2 and people's expectations are completely overdone or like just like watching FPX shit the bed, both painful but satisfying in a way, you know. So it's like I kind of like that, like the chaos of week 1, week 2, best of ones. And I'm actually indecisive as to whether I would want to keep single or double elimination because you raise a good point of the finality of single elimination. So really, maybe not the Swiss best of 3. Don't you dare give another team to LCK and LPL. And I agree with everything else you presented.
See, yeah, I was thinking about it, but I actually don't know of a better way to make it a full 24-team tournament while making everything like nice and equal. So
I told you what to do. I told you last week, take away a team from China and too much already and give that shit to other regions. Like bring LJL up to 2. Give them an actual guaranteed spot, and give LCO another one.
Yeah.
Well, that's what theoretically I already did.
Here's what I'll say,
you took them from the PCS and the VCS. That's what you.
They both have 2 seeds. They're just placed lower.
I think what I'll say, like and we can make this the final thing before we move on to the Flyquest news. What I'll say is that I'm all for giving some of the smaller regions an additional spot. I think I've always felt that it's a little unfair that you've got like 8 or 10 teams in a region, and then at the end of the year, like literally one of them gets to go. Like you work your entire year, and then one of them gets to go to Worlds. Like maybe there's space for the second place team to also make Worlds. Like I think that'd be a really cool thing for them, and then they have to go through plans, in various stages. I really like that idea. But at the end of the day, I still think like those minor regions would get showed up. Like they would not make it to, the group stage. Like I don't think second place Brazil or second place Turkey would do much better than first place Brazil or first place Turkey. So there's that. But I think the format thing is a really interesting discussion. I'm really hopeful that Riot kind of like takes a look at stuff and is like, yeah, maybe we do need to change some things up, because I think this has been a long time complaint that has been slowly gathering more and more steam from various corners of the scene. Okay, final discussion topic of the night today. Not coincidentally, just the timing was really good. Coach Kanani announced that he is still under contract with Flyquest, but they are allowing him to begin exploring options for 2022. He's looking for head coach or strategic assistant coach positions across both LEC and LCS, and then he notes his In-game strengths include champion scouting, drafting themes, macro game, jungle mid-support synergy, and bot lane or jungle individual role coaching. Usually, when I see somebody making a, hey, still under contract, but they're letting me explore options post, it means that they will no longer be with the team, that they are moving on, and usually it means that that player or coach is the one who wants to move on. So maybe if I am misinterpreting this, then so be it. But it sounds to me like Kanani would like to move on to a new project. Do you guys think I am interpreting this tweet correctly, or do you think Kanani will be on stage drafting for us next year?
Personally, for me, I think it could be the opposite way around. I'm not saying that it is, but it could be that Flyquest doesn't want to keep him. It's not, they're not selling off his contract. His contract just straight up ends this year, right? Mm-hmm. So it could absolutely be
I didn't think about that.
Rather just go with someone else, and so they're saying, hey, you better start looking now because we don't really plan on renewing your contract. Whether that is or is not, I don't know. I'm probably leaning more towards Flyquest probably is like, hey, you should look. I don't think it's a matter of like, because this is Kanani's first gig in the LCS as far as I'm like in a major region. So for him, I'm sure it's like he'd kind of like to stay and like get his boots on the ground and make sure he's cemented into the LCS. But that's just me, and I'm speaking as an outsider.
You are correct, and I did not realize that his contract does end, and I believe it ends November 1st, so it actually ends in literally a week.
Oh wow.
So it's certainly it either that could be the case where they are not going to retain him and they are giving him a week's jump on starting conversations. I will note that both Fantix and Sharks, their contracts are good for another year, so they end November 1st, 2022. And then the other, I don't know if we talked about this last week, but it might have happened in between last week and this week, but Triple announced that he is also in a similar position where he's been allowed to start exploring options because his contract ends November 16th. And I don't believe Dreams has tweeted anything similar, but his contract is also ending November 16th, so I would not be surprised if we saw hey, Flyquest has allowed me to start exploring options, especially, once we get to like that week before, like November 9th to 15th, you'll just see everything on your timeline being retweets of players be like, hey, my team has allowed me to start exploring options for next year, as the off-season panic begins.
I just can't wait for @LCS official to be like, hey, Riot Games has allowed me to pursue other contracts or other opportunities.
So interesting. I mean, how do we feel about, a potentially new coach coming into the interesting. I'm looking at the global contract database right now. Sharks is listed as the academy coach, and Fantix is listed as the LCS coach, which is a little interesting to me. I mean, how do you guys feel about potentially losing Kanani as a possibility?
I want to say this in the most respectful way possible. I'm very content with this potential loss. I hold nothing against Kanani, but I personally, just from the season, from what I saw, I firmly believe that a lot of Flyquest issues were very much back end, and anything that is back end usually is the responsibility of the coach, meaning something in coaching sessions. And I wasn't in those. I'm not a coach. I am a hard stuck Silver 3, well now Silver 4 top laner. But
good clarification. Thank you.
But when it comes to being able to observe, you can still observe that. So I don't know what it's like to be in that moment, but you can see when something just doesn't quite click with a team. And like I said, that usually falls on the coach. And I'm not saying he's not a good coach. Like Licorice was underperforming until he went to Golden Guardians, and then he started going real like he had came out the gates real good. It was the best breakup in LCS history. So maybe this could be something for Kanani too, where excuse me, where whatever like he finds is just better for him. And whatever shoes fill his are better for us. So I'm always one who wants to develop the people we have, but in this case, I think it's best we let go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Nox. Yeah, go ahead.
So let's follow the train of thought of like looking at the community sentiment as well as like the narratives around this team this year, right? So coming into this year, we obviously lose a world star-studded roster, right? Came out of Worlds looking pretty damn good, 3-3 in the group, losing to basically DRX mainly, and then splitting with TES. Like it was a solid squad, but then it's like, oh wow, your members are all really good. Like gone. So we come in, we go to Cloud9. We're like, hey, we'll give you a whole bunch of money. Give us Licorice, give us Palafox, give us Diamond, as well as those three. And then we go to Dignitas, we pick up Johnson, and then we go to Latin America. We go to Rainbow Seven. Like, hey, Jose Dioto, come here. You know you want to shine on the big North American stage. Show what you got. You looked great at Worlds. Like, come work, come play with us. All this is a fair amount of money, right? Like, we dropped a fair amount of money on what was supposed to be kind of like a rebuilding year. And so we go into the year, and we have Kanani and Sharks, who, per my knowledge of my research, they'd mainly been in like kind of minor regions and / lower end LEC teams. And the year begins, and it's this kind of like, okay, we have the expectations we should be 6th, should be like low end middle pack, but we should make playoffs, right? And it's just we're struggling to get it together. Our macro isn't there. We look discombobulated. We're not making plays. Individual play levels off a little bit too, which I'm not going to associate that too much to Kanani, but like spring didn't look good, right? And so summer comes along, we swap out Diamond, we bring up Dreams, and it's like, okay, still like we're looking a little better, but like a lot of the same issues are still there. Nothing's really changed. And a lot of the community sentiment, obviously, about this crew is it's like, yeah, they probably are going to start off weak, but they should ramp up over time. And we never saw that ramp up. Like it never came. And basically, towards the end of summer, it's like, just, oh my God, we're desperate. We got to get into playoffs. There's 8 teams getting into playoffs, and we're going to be one of the 2 that don't. We got to do something. So we bring up the Academy squad. We bring up Fantix. And it's like, we had like a great honeymoon phase. And then it just became very apparent, like, hey, this Academy squad, I mean, there's a reason they're Academy. Like, they're good. They should absolutely be prospects to look at coming into the next couple of years. But at the end of the day, they're not ready yet for LCS. And so you kind of go back to like, well, we'll bring the old squad back in on like kind of last week, like kind of mix and mash and stuff, seeing what works, what doesn't. And basically it kind of just, it was Flyquest scrambling, right? Let's just be honest with ourselves. They couldn't get it together. And lo and behold, we don't make playoffs, and that's just the end of the main team season. So my point about this goes back to, we had a roster of guys who, by all means and accounts, should have been good enough to be middle of the pack. They had the potential. Everyone thought they looked good in years previous. Why is it that we were struggling with macro? Why is it that we're unable to synergize as a team? So on and so forth. And I think personally for me, a lot of that falls on the head coach. For me, like because I don't know, unless there's like a vital piece of information that I'm missing somewhere, it should be the head coach that is bringing the team together, who is getting them all situated and synergized and making sure they work together as a proper team. And the entire year, I never saw that. And so if you have a whole year, you have a total of 15 weeks to do that with this squad, 45 games, and you can't get that to mesh with a roster that looked that good, I don't have faith in you. So hopefully maybe it was a fluke year, but I don't want to take that chance. So for me personally, I'm okay to see Kanani go on his way to some other team. I actually hope he does well on another team, but I don't want to take the chance that we have another year like we did this year next year.
That was great. That was fantastic. No,
going off on tangents.
no, that was beautiful. That was eloquent. It was moving. It was passionate. No, I mean, I think I really don't have any disagreements there. I think, I think you crushed it. It was clear that something was missing this year. There was a lack of charisma on the team. There was felt like a lack of leadership. Felt like a lack of taking responsibility. And yeah, I'm hopeful that whoever steps up in the head coaching role next season, if it's Fantix or if it's someone else that we sign, really puts themselves forward as like a face to take charge of things. I mean, not necessarily like Reaper, but like a Reaper-esque kind of coach where like they're publicly being like, yep, drafted like shit today. Sorry, guys. My bad. We'll fix it for next week. Da 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 da. Okay, we got. They'll pop out on Twitter. Okay, we got to work on this. Like someone like that. An Artemis type of person, a Reaper type of person. Someone who is willing to take charge and lead well. That's all that I'm asking is somebody who is willing to lead this team.
I do like when a coach is active on Twitter.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, I actually do really appreciate when a coach is active on Twitter, when they're talking about the other games, when they're really like, wow, why did CLG draft that awful comp, or why, I can't believe TSM flipped that Baron, I don't care. Just like show that you're actively participating in the scene and, being part of things. So that's some interesting news. The off-season rumors. I mean, if you go follow LEC Wooloo, he's posting spicy photoshops every single day with his LEC roster rumors. Are we maybe getting a new LEC super team? Alfari and Perks playing together on some team? Who knows? Who knows what might occur? But roster season is almost here. I can't wait to read some wolf bombs and some... What is it called when Bloop posts something? Is it like a Bloop blast or something like that?
Something like that.
I forget what the what the term is for a Bloop scoop. Oh, a Bloop scoop. Yeah, that's what it is. Bloop scoop. Yeah, I'm looking forward to some Bloop scoops. Okay. Well, I believe that is the show. Looking forward to semifinals this weekend. Hopefully some banger series are inbound. Should be a good time. Thank you all for watching Flight Check, Season 1.5, Episode 5. It has been a great time on the show. You can watch the VOD of this on YouTube and or on Twitch, wherever you prefer to watch your VODs. The show is also on all of your favorite streaming audio platforms, and you can go listen to it there. We do the show every Monday night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we will be back here next Monday night recapping semifinals and maybe even some more off-season news, because I'm sure more and more stuff will start to trickle and leak out as the time goes on. I'm Sandy Toes. I don't really have any shout-outs this week, except for Alvin Kamara. Please get more fantasy points than Jameis Winston tonight. You have a 7-point buffer.
Traditional sports. All right.
You have a 7-point buffer, and all I need is for you to not get 6 points or more less than... That made no sense. Basically, I need Jameis Winston to not score 7 points more than Alvin Kamara. I think it's very doable. So we'll see how that goes.
I also have Kamara on my fantasy team.
Yeah.
So you and me both, Sandy.
How behind are you behind or are you up in your match?
I'm behind by like 10 points.
Oh, you've got this, bro. Easy.
Well, he also has someone on the Seahawks. I forget.
Oh, that could be a little sketchy. DK Metcalf already had an 84-yard touchdown reception, so things might be. Yeah, it could be.
He has Metcalf.
Oh,
really? Are you serious?
Yeah, 84 yards, brother. Hate to hate to see that one. Yeah. So if
Hi,
you're in,
my
if
name
you're
is
in,
Curly Q.
if you're in PPR, if you're in a PPR league, Metcalf just got your opponent 15 points. So I apologize for that. Yeah. So that's my only shout out. Sandy.
I got so
For
confused
Alvin
by
Kamara.
sports.
Curly, do you have a non-sports shout out for us?
I got so confused by traditional sports that I failed at speaking. Like, jeez. I just like had a little bit of
Traditional sports broken out? What? Huh?
No. Geez. I guess shout out to junglers everywhere for having severe impact on my success in games. Except for no. I don't know. Shout out to, you know what? No. Shout out to everyone who's been involved in Worlds production. They are killing it. They are doing a great job.
They really are.
Azael did an awesome job of inheriting the caster curse role from Shocks. I don't know if you saw on Twitter. He had been practicing a C9 monologue last night.
Yeah, not good.
So
not good.
Nah, so yeah, but like shout out to the World staff. They're killing it.
Excellent. Knox.
And also shout out to Rhodes, Tim Kench, Halloween contest. Make sure you do that shit.
Yeah, make sure you do the contest. Knox, any shout outs for you?
Just real quick, Flyquest dropped some merch, so if you're Flyquest fans, by all means, go check out the website. They got some new stuff up.
Did they?
Then re-emphasizing Curly, go check out Rhodes Tim Kench contest. It's in the Discord under hashtag Tim's Hideout, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly.
Knox, I think you're leaking stuff because I don't think they've.
It's not up yet.
It's not up yet, but
He's not leaking though.
They teased that something is coming on Halloween. Yeah, anyway, a limited. Okay, it's not a leak. A limited seasonal merch item being released on Halloween. So it's a bit of a leak, but not really a leak because they already said it's happening. So
say what it was. Anyway, yeah, Tim Kench contest. Go check that out. Go participate. Due by October 31st for Road.
Flyquest is doing a pumpkin carving contest to win that seasonal merch item, by the way.
I'm kind of sad. I'm actually carving pumpkins with my family on Sunday, which is after the due date. So.
I already carved a pumpkin this past weekend, but maybe I need to go buy another pumpkin and try.
I think that's what you got to do.
Try my hand at this.
Knox also has to buy another pumpkin.
I could use whatever this seasonal merch item is. Excellent.
And then outside of that, I think 100 Talk Pod's still doing their thing tonight? Question mark, maybe? I don't know. Shout out to 100 Talk Pod. They're just chill guys in general.
Yep. Shout out to them. Yeah, I don't think they've not tweeted about a show tonight, so I don't know what they're doing.
I'm a liar. That's all you need to know.
Yeah,
it's especially about the Flyquest stuff. That's not true.
Yeah, there's no merch item, guys. No merch item.
Merch doesn't even exist. Like, hold on.
Shop.flyquest.gg. I don't know her. Okay. Well, that has been the show. Thank you all so much for watching. Hope you all stay safe out there. Don't forget to hit the head on the nail, and we will see you all very, very soon. Adios.
Peace, y'all.